And we are live. What's going on, YouTube Live? It's your boy Billy Rowe. Today is Wednesday. I'd like to welcome you to the first row. Since it is Wednesday, you know what that means. It's time for your Wednesday word. That is Wednesday word. Jumping straight into it. Tonight's topic is stop making people relevant. It could have been stop forcing people to be relevant, but we're going to go with stop making people relevant to keep it simple. So as always, I like to start off with what I mean by my topic. What do I mean by the topic of stop making people relevant? So in life, I believe that we have a certain what we call stack rank in the business world, a certain rank that we establish to people that are important based on who they are, what they've done, or what they mean to our lives. So let's say, if I'm Billy, I may have, a wife, my children, my mother, my father, my sisters, family, friends that are stacked in levels of importance, and they fluctuate. Sometimes friends will be higher than family, sometimes families will be higher than friends, so on and so forth. But what I mean by stop making people relevant is sometimes with this stack ranking, we try or attempt to force people in that have really no place in the priorities of the people we spend time with, or the priorities of the people we expend energy on in life. And so when I think of when I started thinking about stop making people relevant, I really was thinking about the aspect of the times in our lives that we get distracted from the people who mean the most to us, even though we may sometimes forget that they mean the most to us. We forget about them and we get distracted because of the fact that we're spending time or giving energy or giving attention to people who really don't have a higher priority than them, or maybe don't even make the list of people you should be spending time with in the first place. So that's what I meant when I started thinking about the topic of stop making people relevant. And so what I did is, as always with every Wednesday word, I came up with a couple of tools. I came up with 4 tools in this particular topic that I felt were helpful with me really assessing how to make people relevant in my life, or how to determine if they are irrelevant. I don't mean that they're worthless. I just mean that for what I'm trying to do in life, the things I'm trying to accomplish, and the support that I may need, or the energy that I'm willing to expend, that person may not be relevant to my life. So jumping straight into it, I want to get into these tools really quick so we can get you guys some notes, some growth, and make things happen. So the very first tool that I came up with when I started thinking about stopping making people relevant in our lives was letting people earn their relevance. I think that sometimes in life we may click with somebody initially, and it seems like it's going to be fun, or it seems like it's going to be a good thing. And so we start spending time with them. I see this happen a lot in dating, where a person meets somebody new, and then all of a sudden, like immediately, they're spending all this time with that new person. And that person gets an abundance of time, may take priority over other friends that you've had for a longer period of time, may take priority over people that have supported you in some darker times when you weren't happy enough or in a position or mindset to date. And so you start spending all this time with this person immediately. However, in my opinion, sometimes that happens because of infatuation. You kind of get caught up in the, ooh, this kind of feels new, this feels good, this feels great, and I like the way it makes me feel. And so because of that, I'm going to devote all my time to trying to keep this feeling going. However, the person hasn't earned their relevance in your life. They haven't earned a place in your life to where you should be canceling plans with friends you've had for years who have been there for you. Now, I'm not saying just because somebody's been there for you for their entire life, you can't say, hey, today I'm not going to spend time with you, for a person who has a lower priority. However, when you give everything or give all your time and give all your energy up front to somebody, and they don't really have to earn it, what ends up typically happening, if you're not dealing with we're going to say, because you're dealing with a person that you don't know really, what ends up happening is you have an abundance of time and resources that you've given to this person. Time is our resource in this case, that you can't really pull back. And then when they do show you who maybe they are, if it's not who you thought they were, or they do show you that, hey, I'm not really a trustworthy person, or I'm really flaky when I don't want to spend time with you once I get to know you and the newness is worn off. When they show you that, now you're hurt, and the people that you lowered their priority are now maybe not in such a receptive mode or receptive position to welcome you back into their priorities. So the first tool is again, letting people earn their relevance. And a second part of that I actually want to explore and or talk about is in earning your relevance. Earning your relevance doesn't come in the "what are you doing" texts. What are you up to? How have you been out of nowhere without any other type of communication? To me, what I'm actually starting to find is that when you get those "what are you doing" texts or "how have you been out of nowhere" texts, those are not necessarily as sincere as we want to believe that they are. Sometimes they're very sincere, but they're not always as sincere as we want to believe that they are. It really can be that a person is experiencing boredom, and because they have not found a effective way of curing that boredom within spending time by themselves, or they don't have the right network, or they maybe have a right network and they called everybody and everybody wasn't available. Now all of a sudden you're getting that message on, "Hey, what are you doing? Because I'm bored and I want you to cure that for me." So number one tool is let people earn their relevance in their life. Don't just give away relevance like it's going out of style. Make them earn it. And I'm not saying make them jump through any special hoops, but make them show you through actions who they are, prove that that's who they are through consistency, and then establish what their priority will be or what their relevance is in your life. Number two is actions determine priority. Man, just got done talking about priority, but actions determine priority. And this is a two-way street. It's not a one-way street. It's not just their actions to you or sorry, your actions to me or my actions to you. It is a two-way street. My actions to you, if I am trying to establish priority and be more relevant in your life, that means that there's going to be times where maybe I'm tired and I will still make myself available to you. Maybe I have to get up early in the morning, but I'll spend a little extra time with you because I'm trying to establish that relevance in your life. And the same goes in the other direction. There may be times that I reach out to you and say, "Hey, I would like to do X," or, I'm having a rough day, or I have this advice that I need. Here's the situation I'm dealing with. And I want to see if maybe you can give me some advice that will help me move through it. And if you're not making yourself available, not that you can be readily available, sometimes it may be like, "Hey, I have to call you back in 10 minutes or whatever it may be, or in an hour or in a day, but I got you. I'll work on it." But if you're not willing to communicate like that or be available or make yourself available to me, then it's a two-way street. I can't prioritize being there for you every single time you call or pick up the phone to dial my number or send me a text message. And then when I go to call, it's like, "Oh, I'm not in the mood for Billy today," or, "Oh, I'm not in the mood to really talk to anybody today." I actually have a really good friend who, when we first started establishing our relationship, because she dealt with depression and because she didn't know how to really communicate that, I don't think she didn't know how to communicate it. I think she just chose not to communicate it. We would go through the extents of, we would talk, and then all of a sudden she'd go silent and I wouldn't hear from her for a while. And then we go back to talking and then she'd go silent. And then I remember the very first time that she actually got into her depression and she didn't go silent and she started talking to me. And I was just like, at the end of that conversation, I said, "My friend, I really want to thank you for not shutting me out this time, because I'm going to be your friend, basically, regardless if you're happy or sad. That doesn't change the level of my friendship or the level of my commitment to you." What's going on, Brother Bruce? So really, again, it's a two-way street of making sure that you are not blowing them off, that they are not blowing you off, and that you are acting or are using actions that display that they are relevant in your life, and they are using those same actions to, not necessarily the exact same, but also using actions to display that you're relevant in their life. So that's the second tool, is actions will determine your priority on a two-way street. The third thing that I came up with when thinking about this, stop making people relevant, was accept that some people are simply acquaintances at best. At best, they are acquaintances. That is all that they have made it to be. And what happens is sometimes we tend to overuse the friend word or overuse, the girlfriend, boyfriend categories. We overuse these categories. And so they begin to start losing what their meaning really is. If it's like, this week you meet me and I'm talking to you and I'm like, "Yeah, I got a new girlfriend." And then next week it's like, and you're asking me, "Hey, how's your girlfriend doing?" I'm like, that didn't work out, but I got a new girlfriend. At some point, when you hear me say I have a new girlfriend, you're going to be like, "Oh, okay. So you have somebody you're going to be hanging out with for the next week and then they won't be here anymore." Not really a girlfriend. So really, what really I started thinking about that really explains this very well is when we deal with our computers. So let's say you have a computer and you create a specific folder for very important documents. And so when you start off with this folder, you put in, maybe some birth certificate copies, a passport copy, social security numbers, things like that, things that are important to your identity. And so you have that in this folder entitled very important information. And then somewhere along the lines, you start adding in a picture of a cloud that you've seen one day and a couple of random notes that you typed into the very important folder. And then it becomes like, this is some scratch paper that I use for math class, and this is now in the very important. And as you put more and more things in this very important folder, what happens is it begins to dilute the meaning of it. Going back to like that girlfriend, every other week it's a new girlfriend. It dilutes the meaning of what it is. And that's what happens when you choose not to accept that somebody is simply an acquaintance and make their relevance or set their relevance accordingly. That's what happens is you start putting everybody into everything. And what you end up doing is overwhelming yourself because now you're disorganized. Now, when you say friend, you're like, oh my God, it's a friend. I got to answer the phone. Wait, I'm on the phone with a friend, but now another friend is calling. I got to answer that phone. Okay, well, now I'm getting a text message from a friend. I got two people on hold. Hold on. I need to send this text message to another friend. No, you have to understand what your stack rank is, who's important, who has priority, and treat that priority as if it is the priority of the moment. And if that means like a friend calls while there's an actual friend on the other line, maybe you just click over and say, hey, can I give you a call back? I'm on the phone right now. And you click back over. Or maybe if it's an acquaintance, you let them go to voicemail and say, they can either leave a message or send a text message. And when I'm actually available to allocate some time to the acquaintance category, then I will give them a call back. But I'm not going to get off the phone or brush off my friend who may need me in this moment to get on the phone with an acquaintance. So that's the third tool. The third tool is, again, accepting that some people are acquaintances at best. And then the fourth and final tool that I came up with was understanding the cost of misallocating people to relevancy. And what I mean by that is when you make somebody who is irrelevant, and I don't mean this in like you're just completely don't matter, but when you make somebody who should be irrelevant to you or a relevant person, you begin to distract focus and energy from other people in your life who are actually relevant. So like, for instance, I have 3 sons. If I misallocate relevancy to somebody outside of my 3 sons, there's no irrelevant son that I have. So if I misallocate relevancy to a person and I start giving that person time, energy, money, whatever it may be, if I start giving these things and they're not really supposed to be in my relevant factor, that misallocation is going to cost me time, energy, and money with my children. So you only get 24 hours. So if you're going to take 4 hours from here or take 4 of your hours and allocate it to somewhere else, that means that's 4 hours that you can't spend with your children. That means that's 4 hours that you can't spend with your partner. That means that's 4 hours that you can't spend with your friends. That means, here we go. That means that's 4 hours that you can't spend with yourself, of another person who needs to be prioritized in your relevancy, yourself. That means you don't spend that 4 hours reflecting and growing and trying to nurture yourself to become the best you that you can possibly be. So those are the 4 tools that I came up with when I was thinking about this topic. Again, to go over them really, really quickly. The first tool is let people earn their relevance. The second tool is actions determine priority. The third one is accept that some people are acquaintances at best. And the fourth one is understand the cost of misallocation. Anytime, again, that time that you take away or give away to people who are irrelevant is taken away from somewhere. It doesn't just go there and it doesn't come at a cost. So realize that cost. So as always with the Wednesday Word, I like to share a personal story that kind of helped me think about this particular topic. I'm kind of in the beginning of the year, I'm always on like a clean house type mindset of what relationships really mean a lot to me, which ones do I want to nurture to grow, so on and so forth. And so I kind of like do this sifting and sorting of relationships in the beginning of the year. But the story that really, or the story that really got me thinking about this particular topic is the trips that I take back to California. I am one person. I have a lot of actual friends. However, when I go back to California, I'm there to see my children. I may be there to go into a specific event. Like there's a wedding that I won't get to go back to, but I may be going to an event. But I realize that the people that I am spending time with, it always seems to be about the same group of people: my children, my family, my friends. And then every once in a while, I may get in touch with like an outlier friend that I just don't get to see that often. But I'm spending time with roughly the same people every single trip. And I was thinking like, wow, should I really separate and start spending this trip? I'll spend time with these people, and this trip I'll spend time with these people, and this trip I'll spend time with these people. But really, it wasn't about trying to spend time with different people in every trip that I take back to California. What it really has been about is about spending time with people that I have created relevance with, and that I feel like I have relevance, or that I have relevance in their life and they have relevance in my life. Now, does that mean that just because I don't see somebody, they're irrelevant? That doesn't mean that. However, what I have done is for the people who are irrelevant, when I hear, because I hear all the time, and I'm sure many of you have heard, oh, when you come into town, get at me. Let me, get in touch with me. Let's see what we can get into, this, that, and the other. And then you may reach out, and then they're like, oh, well, I'm not available. And it's like, well, I'm only here for 4 days. Sorry if you're not available, but this is the only days I'm available. And so you find that you start interacting or trying to fit people in to your schedule that have no place being in your schedule in the first place. And so in my trips to California, I've really started focusing and honing in who I want to spend time with, what I want to do either with them, or what activities I want to do that I can invite them to. I've tried to start doing more group type events to where I can see an abundance of people and kind of spread my time differently. But at the end of the day, it's about figuring out who is relevant and not forcing people to be relevant in my life. And as I've done that, I've been able to successfully go back home, visit, spend time with the people that I want to spend time with. And then when I'm back on the plane to Utah, there may be like 2 people that I didn't get to see just because our schedules didn't link up. But I don't leave feeling like, oh, I didn't see 30 other people, when really out of those 30 other people, only 5 of them were highly relevant or a high priority in my personal life, whether it's supporting me on YouTube, supporting me while I'm out of the state, away from home, family, and friends, whatever it may be. Those people are the people that I really want to be focused on spending time with when I am back local. So that is what the Wednesday Word is about. I hope you have enjoyed tonight's Wednesday Word. As always, I enjoy these conversations. I only got you in the chat though, Brother Bruce, but I appreciate you rocking with me. I know you're one of the hardest working men in show business. What I do want to announce though is that the next time the next time the First Row will actually be live will be on this upcoming Monday. We will have our very first new show to the network, which is going to be Keeping It Real Estate. And that is with Key Bryant of Bryant Gonzalez Realty. So I hope you guys tune in for that. I'll be actually on as a viewer to watch that particular show take place, because I want to be supportive of the content that comes onto the channel. But I also want to be supportive of the things that I feel like are going to help you guys grow. So that will be on Monday at 7 p.m. That's Monday, January 14th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's Keeping It Real Estate with Key Bryant. Tune in if you're interested in real estate, whether it's buying a house, renting, getting commercial property, buying investments. This is a show you definitely want to be in tune with. It's going to be running bi-weekly, so twice a month you'll be able to come in, see what's going on in the real estate market, and be able to ask questions live of a realtor, which is pretty cool, pretty awesome to have. So I hope you guys tune in for that. Again, that's Monday, January 14th, 7 p.m. Keeping It Real Estate with Key Bryant. Other than that, I want to thank you guys for sitting on the first row tonight. If you do like this video, please share it. If you share it, please like it. If you have not subscribed yet, please click the subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you can be notified when we are live on the first row. There'll be 3 live events next week. I will be putting that up on Instagram. Take a moment to follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, and that's all at First Row. You can even find it First Row on LinkedIn. That's at 1STWROE. So I'd like to thank you guys again for sitting on the first row tonight. Until the next time I see you, one love, peace, and God bless.